Hello, this is Matthew Thrasher. This is my week 2 discussion video. First thing I wanted to talk about, what jumped out at me was developmental psychology. You know, the stages of growing up for children and nature and nurture. I find this really interesting. I even think I talked about it a little bit in the last week, but I have 2 daughters. One is 12 and one is 8, and they couldn't be more different. They have a few similarities to me, but for the most part, they're completely different people. I know a lot of it might have to do with age. You know, the 12-year-old, she's struggling. She's starting puberty, starting adolescence. She's very independent. You know, and the book talks about how this time in their life, they're trying to become their own person. You know, they rebel against the authority of me and their mother. We are authoritative parents, as it mentions in the book. However, we are loving and want them to be independent, but we do set rules, and the rules need to be followed. I know growing up, I worked a lot when she was a kid, when she was young, and my job brought me out of town a lot, and I didn't spend as much time with her as our younger daughter. You know, the last 3 years, I quit the job I did when the older daughter was growing up, and I've been working as a substitute, so I'm off when they're off, and I have spent a lot of time with my younger daughter. She spends a ton of time with me and is a lot more like me because of that. I think that's the nurture aspect. She's into sports, she's into outdoors, she loves to go fishing with me. My older daughter, you know, when she was younger, maybe a little, but I didn't get to do that stuff with her when she was at that age where she is really starting to learn what she likes, you know. Now she's at an age where she's coming into her own. And, you know, it just shows the different way that you nurture. Each child is different. They turn out different. Now, she still has my temperament. You know, you can tell she looks like me, and there's certain things that you can tell that she's like me, but we struggle that we don't have a lot in common, and sometimes I feel horrible that the younger daughter knows me better. But, you know, as authoritative parent and parents that have to work and earn a living, that was just the way it was. I wish I could have been around all the time. Just like now my wife doesn't spend as much time with our younger, and I'm sure she'd rather be around all the time. The second thing I wanted to discuss was chapter 4, and I don't want to get into a whole big morality discussion on genders, but I would like to talk about how, you know, genes, whether you're born or not thinking that you're gay or transgender, is a discussion that I don't really want to have. But, you know, it's easy to see, even with the whole nurture concept, how somebody might still be born different. You know, I've had friends that were raised by parents in a normal role, a loving mother, loving father, and, you know, they grew up to be gay. And they were probably always gay. I don't know. You know, but one example I would like to give how nurture might have something to do with it, how someone is raised. A really good friend of mine who coaches basketball with me, she's a lesbian. She's a wonderful person, and I do not judge her at all. It is God's job, not mine. She claims to be a Christian, so that's up to her and God. She grew up with a single father who was a basketball coach, huge sports fan. He raised her the only way he knew how, like a boy, playing basketball, playing sports. Did that affect what she grew up to be? I don't know. Maybe she just was always meant to be what she was meant to be. It's important, I think, just not to judge. And, I guess studies are important to know, how our brains work and if the way we're raising people is making them turn out a certain way. But it really shouldn't matter how they turned out as long as they're good people. So that's about all I have to say about that. Culture differences and nurture differences definitely affect people, but sometimes it's just the way it's meant to be. Thank you. I hope everyone has a good week.